All right, y'all. This is Homeroom with Smooth. This is the final episode of season 6. We're here to talk about Kanye West versus the entire world, it looks like. Before we go any further, I'm gonna let my guest introduce himself. So, first of all, we're gonna go with newest to oldest. So we got my guy here, Gambit, GSU Gambit. What's going on, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be here. I love the intro. The intro was pretty dope. So I'm happy to be here. Happy to talk about my boy Ye. So yeah, happy to get into this.
All right. Frank.
You said newest to oldest. That's why I was like,
Shoot. Well, you know what? Yeah, I did say that. Dang, I did. Okay, Dr. G, what's going on with you, man? we can't hear you, my brother.
Yeah, I try to mute myself, when it ain't my turn. What's up, Doc? Everything well?
Okay, that's cool. What's been going on with you, man?
I'm trying to maintain my sanity, but GSU Gambit, what the GSU stand for?
The greatest school in the land, Georgia Southern University.
Oh, see, the wrong Georgia State University. I thought you was gonna be with me. You at the other place. Oh, my bad.
We starting off on a bad foot.
Oh Lord.
See, you got to be in Atlanta, right? And so yeah, I'm a graduate of Georgia State University, the real GSU.
Ooh.
All right.
And now,
hey, y'all.
No, go.
Oh, I thought you said, hold on. Hey, y'all. Shar here. Glad to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. You know what I'm saying? Glad that you're here. All right.
It's really big today. I don't know why.
Oh man. At least you ain't just put lotion on, because then it would have been like extra shiny.
You know what?
That would have been rough.
Oh, I like her earrings.
Thank you.
Yeah, her melanin is popping. Her melanin is cool.
Oh, what's up, guys? It's Frankie. I am back again, as always, here with Smooth, because I have no other friends apparently.
Oh man. Okay. Okay. Well, y'all can read the topic. Listen, Kanye, it's basically Kanye West versus the world. Okay. I don't know. He's been on this. I wanted to cover Kanye like a month ago because he was wilding then. And then I was like, you know what? Let me hold off because I don't think he's done. And then he did something else with the White Lives Matter t-shirt. And I was like, hold on, wait. I don't think he's done. And then today I was like, this is perfect. This is the perfect time.
Did he pull a Kanye on Kanye? You're like, I'm gonna let you finish, but
yeah, pretty much. But what I want to do is going across, let everybody give their initial thoughts on this.
Wait, you gotta give the crowd that's watching like a little summary of what happened.
A little summary of what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So basically, this man went on to the Drink Champs. He went on the Drink Champs, spreading anti-Semitic stuff, talking about the Jews, talking about he's gonna go DEFCON 3 on them. That's kind of wild. I'm not even gonna lie. That's a wild statement. It is a wild statement. Now, I've heard wilder stuff, so I didn't think it was gonna rise to the level of adidas just dropped him. Balenciaga dropped him. Gap terminated all the rest of their deal, and they already had terminated part of it like a month ago. So they terminated the rest of the deal. And then you had Wells Fargo, unprecedented, told him to take $160 million and get to step in, like, go take your checking account elsewhere. Never heard of that.
Damn.
160 million told him to walk. And then Adidas dropped him. I think the CAA, they dropped him from the talent agency. Like, I guess it's either acting or whatever it is. Def Jam dropped good music off the label. I was like, what is going on? I've never I've never seen this level of unity
Oh yeah, and then
in my
athletes
life.
they're leaving down the sports as well too.
I mean, yeah, because PR for their
Yeah,
brands. I don't blame them because they still got a lot of career
yeah.
ahead of them. Like if I was in that position, I leave too. Like I don't care how good of a manager you are. Like I'm out, bro.
I was like,
Yeah. So here are my initial thoughts.
Okay, go ahead.
We obviously know Kanye hasn't been right in the head since his mama died. Um, he clearly has some mental health issues going on. I don't think he really takes his medicine, and since he has a lot of power, and whoever his team is, they probably, if you know how mental health works, I mean, you can only do your part so much if they don't want to listen. So clearly, he's not listening and taking his meds, and when he doesn't, he has these crazy outlandish, I guess, bitch fits, call them, that don't make sense. Um,
I mean, ain't nothing else you can call
yeah,
it. Like,
so I'm gonna say something. It's probably gonna be some people mad. I don't care. So they should have been pulled these brands and stuff. My issue is he has said things like slavery was a choice. He has said crazy stuff, and they wait until he threatened the Jews to finally take action. Why, when he said slavery a choice, didn't they do anything? Was does our fight not matter? Slavery didn't matter, but what the Jews went through did. Like that's my only issue with this, is that they're just now taking what he said about Jews,
I have an answer for that, but
taking that very serious, and finally taking these
yeah.
actions. I'm not disagreeing with the actions they've taken. These actions should have been taken a long time ago. But that part upsets me.
man.
Mm.
Oh, I also want to add. Forbes also said Buddy wasn't even a billionaire no more. They said he worth 400 million as of today. No. This is unprecedented. They changed your value as of today. Like they did the math quick. The intern was overworked and underpaid.
Well, I think like my take on it, I was kind of stating it earlier. I really haven't been following Kanye all too close. I know he's been kind of people. They've been saying he's been out of pocket for a while. So to me, it was like, oh, it's a Tuesday. Like honestly, people that were trying to talk to me about it say, oh, did you see this? And I'm like, yeah, I know something that people are mad about him and Adidas. And I know about that, but I really didn't go into the whole I didn't like do my research about what he said until it gained steam, and then I was finally like, all right, let me see what's going on. To answer Shar's question, I'm not going to answer it now completely, but it's not about what he said, it's how he said it and what he incited. Because I will say, oh yeah, this is when I caught my feed. Because on the 405, I was driving home from work, and people that they had they had a sign that said Kanye's right. And then and I live by a Jewish community too. And that facility was kind of vandalized about it and everything too. So it's not a kind of like what he said, it's kind of what he's inciting. Exactly. And then especially when he said he's going DEF CON on a group of people, and it's different than saying slavery is a choice. But so I think that's why companies are doing more actions now of pulling back, because now he's inciting violence, which I think he's not really inciting violence. I think they have their own choices, and the people are being stupid.
Okay. Okay. Dr. D, I'm gonna let you go, and then GSU, we're gonna have you go.
Okay, so first I need to say I wasn't with Kanye when he was a damn dropout, and so
Yeah.
I didn't like him back then. So I've never been a fan, but just like Shar talked about, it's amazing that this is the moment that is now a problem. You can be anti-black as a black person, but you sure the hell can't be anti-Semitic, and that's a problem, right? And when we look at, like, I forgot what song it was, but when Jay-Z tried to talk about Jews, they immediately made him take it out the song, right? and he's supposed to be the coldest in the game according to him.
Mm.
And so there's a lot of power in it. And so we can talk about niggas in Paris and make that a hit, but you better not say any damn thing, right? And so we got to start looking at, or as Black people, we need to learn from Jews, right? That anything that's anti you put a full court press on, period. Right? They still going after Nazi cats. This one, I forgot the story, but this cat that I think they tried him like 8 times. He like 103. They still going after him.
Yeah.
And they were like, "You gonna die in goddamn jail? I don't care." Right? Like, and we got out here cats that lynched folks or was there. And so I think we need to learn from them because they standing up against any oppression against them, including if they make money off of anti-Blackness, that's fine. But you're not gonna make a quarter off of them and their oppression.
Okay.
Well, that's my opening salvo.
Okay.
Drops bar.
Gambit, go ahead, man.
Oh, man. I am happy that we have such a diverse panel. We have a lot of people coming from a lot of different ways, so I'm excited. This is gonna be great. So me, I've been rocking with Ye since the dropout, and I'm continuing to rock with him today. I think Ye is the exact same human being he was when he said George Bush doesn't like Black people. Ye dropping all falls down, which calls out like a lot of systemic things in our community that are like literally still evident today. I think he's always been great about finding the pulse on the culture, directing it somewhat, and highlighting issues that we face. So I don't think there's anything, and I'm willing to defend this too. I don't think there's anything that Ye has done over the past 2 decades to make me question his mental health, or to make me I don't think there's anything that he's done that makes me question his mental health. I think literally everything he's done is defensible. The only things that I don't like are specifically like saying Trevor Noah isn't Black. I don't like when people attack Blackness. There's a couple other things I didn't necessarily like the George Floyd dying from fentanyl statements. I don't think there's anything to suggest that. So I specifically didn't like those comments, but I don't think anything about that makes a person crazy. There's plenty of Black people I've heard with those type of takes. But so I think Ye has consistently been on point, and this is just another instance of it. And the fallout that y'all are talking about on, hey, I can't believe this is happening now. It's because a lot of the things that he's saying is true. And I think the most important point, because a lot of people that hate Ye don't actually listen to Ye, they get their opinion formed by the media somewhat. But Ye's not said anything anti-Semitic. His biggest claim has been, I don't dislike the jealous people. I don't dislike the Jewish people. I'm jealous of them. They don't kill their babies. They support each other. They do this. So there are things amongst the Jewish culture that he wants to see in Blacks. And as a person that's pretty pro-Black, I support most of his message for sure.
Okay. Man, God, this is gonna be a very interesting discussion. This is gonna be a very interesting discussion.
So white lives matter. Let's start there.
So okay.
They do.
You know what? I'm gonna start with the shirt. So the shirt, right? When I initially saw the back of the shirt, I was with everybody else, but I was at work, so I couldn't be upset. I had work to do, so I'm like, let me work. All of a sudden, I get home and I'm just like, you know what? What's on the front of the shirt? Like, what's the whole shirt? Because I'm like, there's no way this artistic man, you know what I'm saying, is I think your camera just went out. Oh my God.
He said, you know what? Peace out.
Yo, he's not having it, dog.
They're prepared to shoot movie.
You're not about to defend Ye, bro. We out.
I'm gonna be back. I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna be back.
Well, I did have a. Oh, yeah, go ahead, because I did have something for Gambit, but No, but I can't find it, so I want to make sure that it's actually true.
Yeah, let's
Okay.
move to finish first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to hear what he
So
finished.
to fit but when you look at the front of the shirt, right? I couldn't make out what the image was, but from the general consensus that I gathered, because I went to Reddit, I went on Twitter, like I went to people that was looking at the front of the shirt, they were like, all of a sudden they're not as upset because I don't know what the meaning of the front of the shirt was, like because it's somebody on there, right? And it has a messaging on there, but I couldn't read it clearly. There was no image I could get to where I could read the shirt clearly to get an understanding for myself. But I do know the front of the shirt adds meaning to why he said white lives matter, and it makes the shirt less bad in general. That's what the general consensus was. Now, look, I don't know what's on the front. You know what I'm saying? I can't make it all the way out. But if everything holds true, that there might been a bigger statement he was making.
Mm. In my
But
opinion,
the back of the shirt was to get you.
There is
Say what?
nothing, in my opinion, that can make white lives matter less offensive. But you go off.
Hey,
That's just
look.
my opinion.
So who was he holding hands with at the time?
Oh,
Right.
Miss Candace.
Candace Owens.
And what we know
Candace
about
Owens,
what do we know about her and what she said the shirt meant?
Don't get me started on her. That's the Uncle.
Well, I'm just saying that the context of
Hey, look,
context of
I'm just trying to
stupidity is still stupid, right?
Huh?
Context for stupidity is still stupid,
Exactly.
right? And so if Blue Lives Matter would have shown on the front of a Blue Lives Matter a police officer getting killed, would it have changed the conversation on why they saying Blue Lives Matter in the first place?
I think it's a reason the two Tennessee people at the bottom of the screen. So.
They didn't segregate us. They didn't segregated
us. So, yeah, I mean, I don't want to interrupt. So that's why I was waiting. But the All Lives Matter movement. Jesus Christ, I've had like at least like 30 podcasts with people with ridiculous opinions on All Lives Matter. I absolutely hate it. I think a response to a social movement that's talking about unrest is absolutely insane. Now, that being said, I think the reason why Ye is wearing this shirt is to prove somewhat of the hypocrisy in our white friends, right? So I think when we look at the people who are celebrating White Lives Matter, it becomes like an interesting conversation to wonder why they don't celebrate Black Lives Matter. So I think him wearing a shirt, and it's almost regardless of what his internal reasoning was. I'm not sure of what Candace Owens says, so I definitely want to hear from you, DL, because I don't particularly watch it like Candace Owens, so I haven't listened to her take on it. But I think it's creating a good conversation over why parts of the country that would say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization," or they were so gung ho to support White Lives Matter's T-shirts. So I think it called out the hypocrisy in a lot of people. I mean, at the end of the day, he does have mixed kids; they're half white, half black. So him being supportive of white iconography, I don't really have a problem with it. But particularly, I do hate, not hate, but I do have a strong dislike for the All Lives Matter / White Lives Matter movement that seemed to be a response rather than genuine concern over things that are happening in the country.
So Candace Owens went on to say, and I want to say also, Kanye, but you said you didn't matter about his internal dialogue, but she went on to say, and I think he concurred with this as well, that you got black on black crime, you got black people killing themselves. They got there's this viral video from a young man responding to her point by point of what she's saying, but anyhow, So she goes into that black culture is basically we're born into a bad culture as black people, like it's in our DNA, type of ideology, and that white lives do matter. And hope, like, I didn't listen to all of it, but Kanye is feeding, because here's what white people need. They need that one Negro, right? They need that one Step and Fetch. Now, Step and Fetch is a historical moment. Step and Fetch, he actually, as a human being, because he got like 5 names, I can't remember none of them. He, as a human being, highly supported the modern civil rights movement, and he was down for black people, but black people abandoned him because of the role that he played. But anyhow, you need the buckwheat, you need the zip coon, you need these cats because they can point to that one person to make an embodied general rule, because one of the things we don't have is this idea of diversity in blackness. So if I can find one black person doing it, this is what black people do, because we are a collective. And so his black body putting white lives matter on it is feeding the conversation around that it's Black Lives Matter who's blowing things out of proportion, right? And so that is the problem, because it is feeding the anti-blackness. It's getting away from the actual point and making it a debatable thing, because now all of a sudden you got one Negro on this side and then all the rest on this other side. Oh, that's debatable. This is not a shared understanding of what it is. And so I get to have my quote unquote opinion too, as a white person or a non-black person, because let's not think that that white supremacy did not seep into other ethnic groups. And so there is no excuse when we talk about it in going too smooth, and when we conceptualize all the things, right? And so all of a sudden he told you slavery was a damn choice. Right? So putting slavery as a choice along with white lives matter, he's hitting all of the main white talking points that want to keep black people down forever, right? That economically, socially, spiritually, right? Like across every facet, he is in support of, right? And I'll stop talking after this. Have you ever seen A Soldier Story?
Yes.
All right, and so the quick summary.
Can you say that again? A Soldier Story?
Yeah, A Soldier Story. It's a 1982 or 3. It got Denzel in it before he was Denzel, and it's a phenomenal movie. But I'm gonna mess up it for you, part of it. And so the guy Sergeant Waters is one of the main characters. So Sergeant Waters, he served in World War I and World War II, set in World War II. He served in World War I, and he gave a story about being in Paris because black people couldn't serve in World War I, and so so they had to join the French Legion to fight. And so he was one of those people that went over to France to fight, join the French Legion or whatnot, or whatever the unit was called. And he told a story about how those French women were looking at those black men. And so these white French men, they decided to pay a black man to put a tail on his damn butt, eat a banana, and dance on the table. And Sergeant Water was like, and he had the audacity to ask why as we slit his throat. Because at one point, when somebody left a goddamn monkey in front of company, to because of economics, to bring their own self up over the collective, there was a reckoning, and he needs to have that reckoning. I ain't saying slit the man's throat. I'm just giving that as an example.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just like, I don't want y'all to be like, he incited Kanye throat being slit. No, I'm just saying.
That's what y'all doing to Yeto, but I ain't gonna say that. No, I'm joking.
He got to be held accountable, right? Yeah. Go back to the Drop Squad, right? It was an early 1990s movie, right? But anyhow, let's.
Yeah, Frank, I didn't know if you wanted to get in first.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so the slavery was a choice line. I think this is another one where the media is just. I mean, the media is great at what they when they want to see the position into the public consciousness. They have the money and the power to do that, and I think as Black people, we need to be mindful of like how embedded the media is in pushing the narrative. So I had absolutely no problem with anything that Ye said in that interview. I think that was like where was he? He was at TMZ, right?
TMZ.
TMZ interview.
He's at TMZ.
Yeah. So we all grew up and we all learned about slavery when we were young, right? And I'm willing to bet that every one of us here on this call said, yo, if I would have been a slave, I would have been a runaway. If I would have been a slave, I would have did this. Or we talked some like kind of like truth to power that we would have tried to eclipse the situation that we was in. So in that respect, I have nothing wrong with what he said. But I think what's the most important and what most people have misunderstood, and it's kind of shocking when I hear it from my friends on the left. So what's her name? Is it Nicole Hannah Jones? Nicole Hannah Jones is a controversial figure, but one of the things that she put into the consciousness, which is widely debated, is the 1619 Project, right? So the 1619 Project is talking about how, like, slavery and a bunch of other stuff didn't start in 1776. It all started back in 1619 with the slave trade. So the thing that's important is when people misquote Ye somewhere is he didn't say slavery was a choice. His entire, well, not misquoting, but like clipping a little bit. His entire quote was 400 years. 400 years. That sounds like a choice to me. And what people don't take into account is that they don't understand that Ye was talking about them. 1619 plus 400 is 2019. We're talking about contemporary stuff, not just people physically being locked in chains. So I feel like a lot of our culture, like we're taught from young ages to abide by authority and all of these other things. And we're taught, and it's good reason why we're taught this, right? Like how to interact with police and how to interact with all these other systems, because like the danger that we face as Black people. I think one of the downsides of that is we have this obedience to the system somewhat. And I think a lot of us get fearful. And when I think a lot of people are when I hear people say Ye is crazy, how I read that is Ye's not acting like us niggas supposed to act. We supposed to keep our head down. We can't call out elites like in the way that he's doing it. And he's just escaped that and he's comfortable. If he was comfortable calling out George Bush as president, he's definitely comfortable in calling out elites and record deals and things like that. So I don't have a problem with his 400 years. It sounds like a choice because I think there are ways that we today are still hurting ourselves, and whether we're physically enslaved in the past or mentally enslaved now, I think his comments are right, and I think we avoid doing the work that we need to do in our community to put ourselves forward. So I agree with the quote like completely, and I think most people do innately, but rather they like understand that real time is different.
So let me put my professor hat on. I know I don't want to take up everybody's time, but I do want to correct some information real quick. And this is the reason why we should listen to a college dropout. 1441 is when the transatlantic slave trade starts. And so if you look at when the transatlantic slave trade ends or slavery in the Americas, that's the 400 years they're talking about. 1619 is only dealing with what becomes the United States, right? Because the United States is only concerned with the British Empire, right? And so when England comes over with, was it the Nina, the whatever, right? Whatever Thanksgiving is about, right?
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why we begin in 1619. There's some people that's against the 1619 project because they mistakenly believe that by talking about 1619, they're talking about the beginning of slavery. Slavery began off the Canary Islands off the coast of Africa in 1441, right? And so 51 years prior to Columbus sailing the ocean blue, they was on sugarcane plantations on the coast of Africa because they were Africans,
for sure. But
right? And so that's the 400 years, not 1619 to 2019.
I agree with you on the conversation around when the somewhat great transatlantic slave trade started some of its beginnings. But I think the conversation over 1619 is the instantiation of this enterprise in like American context. So I don't.
So then this is my thing then. So say you guys, because you're interpreting it one way, he's interpreting it another way, then isn't the backlash that Kanye didn't really clarify his message?
No, he did. He did. If you listen to the interview,
Well, no, yeah.
He talked about mental enslavement and other things. Because
I get because I remember him going off and verifying that, which is why I'm not getting on you for defending him on what he said. It's the thing is too, it's that he also needs to clarify his message and use different terms, and that's why I do think it's his responsibility to go back on it. And I guess you could say no, it's not, because if you're saying, hey, this is my message, you take it the way you want to, and that's your fault. But then it generates a snowball effect.
So I don't think people can avoid clipping. I think in this conversation, somebody could clip this some way and quote one of us out of context. And if they have the money to broadly report that as the narrative, there's no way you can escape that.
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
No. But what I'm saying is, in that interview, Kanye did spell out what he meant. So what you're saying is, you're not saying that Kanye shouldn't have been clear with his words. You're saying that he should have been able to combat the media narrative. He was absolutely clear with his words. I'm looking at this now, and he said, "You were there for 400 years, and it's all of y'all. It's like we were mentally in prison." Like, I'm trying to remember all the other quotes that he said, but this isn't
mentally
his
in
first
prison.
time.
No, but right now, because I listened to that interview, and mentally in prison too, I could take the fact that they were mentally in prison, so that they didn't want to do an uprising during slavery. Because if you look at the slave to, if you look at that ratio too, they could have overruled it. But mentally in prison because, hey, the first person doesn't want to die, someone doesn't want to get beat, someone doesn't want to do that. So that mentally in prison, he could be talking about some like people that can interpret it as back on the plantation. And I get what you're saying, because he's like, he tried to clarify it too, but he didn't clarify it enough. And you're saying, hey, someone with these means could go ahead and go clarify it. But guess what? Kanye West also has those means as well. And if he really wants to go and because he wants pretty much black people to be like these other races and he has the means to lead us. But then if he's not clear in his message, and he has the means to go ahead and clarify the message and rally the troops as well.
But I think historical facts are important, right? We're not going to become Trump, right, and not deal with actual facts. Historical fact, because so we imagine, and Gambit, you did it as well. One of the erroneous things that we do, right? Because just as a reminder, I actually teach African American history. Right. Mm-hmm. And so one of the biggest things that we do is try to throw ourselves into the damn past and say what the hell we're gonna do and what we ain't gonna do. How many of you goddamn Negroes right now got guns and having a revolution? None of y'all. Ain't none of y'all picking up y'all goddamn guns having a revolution.
Maybe that's not most appropriate today. Have you considered
you just as goddamn enslaved according to your goddamn Ye? If you want to go with Ye said y'all was goddamn enslaved today, according to your 400 goddamn years up into
for sure,
right? So if you enslaved, why the hell you ain't having a goddamn revolution? Why you ain't having a revolt?
Is that rhetorical, or you want?
No, I'm asking you. Why aren't you not having a revolt?
So let me answer. So there are lots of people who understand the situation that we're in, and I think anyone with
why are you not having a revolt?
I'm trying to answer your question. I think anyone with a tad bit of sense understands the super minority that we are in this country, and the idea of taking up arms and going against white people is literally like a brain dead idea. So I think that reasonable people today who understand the situation that we're in don't think that taking up arms and fighting our government and white people is one that makes sense. What's more reasonable is using our resources and creating communities that support us and creating spaces that support us and using our funding on each other rather than giving away our black dollar to every other community that's not black. So Ye talks about things that we could do, such as spending money with ourselves. You talk about the community, and it's weird because I'm very anti-black nationalism for sure. Like, I hate Umar Johnson. At least I hate some of the stuff about Umar Johnson, I should say. The problem is
he shouldn't represent black nationalism.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of their message, because we aren't segregated because niggas don't want to live with white people. We segregated because white people don't want to live with niggas. So if we're going to be in our community where we're sectioned off from others, it makes sense to own the industry in that community so that the wealth goes towards upbuilding our community. And most reasonable people today, that's the revolution that they look for. So we aren't physically in chains anymore. It's more mental now for sure, but we can't give up on fighting for the future. So most people would say that an economic revolution is what we need rather than like a physical war. You would agree, right?
So we're not gonna ask what I agree, right? And
I will say that then if that's the route that he's going and what he's trying to push, he contradicts himself then, because his actions don't meet his words.
Not at all, because he impregnated a white woman.
No, it's not that. No, because
I'm gonna go there.
No, I'm talking about influence because you want to get because he wants to get back to pretty much these black communities. But then he complains about record deals going to with Jewish owners. But then he goes ahead and signs a deal with Adidas. And if you look at the owner of Adidas now too, he has Jewish history, and that money's going to Germany.
Wait, I don't know if this is an inflammatory question, but I'm going to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in black nationalism? I don't think that having joint ownership with people of other races is some way anti-black or anti-economic revolution.
But it's not. He's not a joint owner though. And he's
100% owner of the Yeezy brand. He's a 95% owner. Kim owns 5%. He's a 95% owner of the Yeezy brand. That's a part of the sale distribution.
Real quick before y'all go on, I do want to point out that he cannot use any of the intellectual property that was done with Adidas because they own it, and they literally like highlight it in the contract where they own all that stuff. Like everything that he's previously done is gone.
That's not true. Hold on.
No. That's literally Adidas.
Listen. Yeezy is a brand, and there's a Yeezy and Adidas joint partnership. So whenever you sign, I have NDAs with literally 15 different companies. The things that are covered under that NDA or that IP laws are the things that were created that are of controlling interest of Adidas. The IP that is created by the Yeezy brand that he owns does not belong to Adidas. So there are things
that wasn't what I was saying.
No, you were saying anything that he created.
I was saying the anything that he's previously done with them, like the designs and art styles, that is gone. But he can still be Yeezy.
No. This is what I'm trying to get you to understand. Okay, if let's say I'm doing a joint partnership with Google, right? And I am creating some things under my brand, and there's a distribution deal or something through Google or whatever. The things that I create are my IP, and how I choose to distribute those things could be through Google, could be through Adidas, but the IP that I'm creating solely belongs to my entity. So those are different things. Just because they work together and there was non-competes and those type of things doesn't mean that things that he created under his brand and share it with them for publishing and all of that type of access means that he no longer controls it.
It depends on how the contract was written up. That's what it really depends on, because if the contract was written up, right? So if the contract was written up where everything that you're doing in this partnership is because we're putting most of the money into it or whatever that situation was, the intellectual property can be given away through contractual means, right? And so if at my university I come up with something and I roll it out at the university I'm at, the university can keep that idea even if I can then go to another place.
It will, because your terms of employment with your university is way different, for sure.
Right. And so depending on the contract and how it's written up, because Smooth them said they looked at the contract. I hadn't looked at it. I don't care about that portion of it, but I do want to get back to, and I want to see I want Smooth. Can you run the tape back? I want you to run the tape back. And when Gambit was talking about why slavery and the meaning of slavery that Ye said, bless you, was what he was trying to get at, and then play back when I asked him about him being in a revolution and how he didn't answer for him.
I did answer for myself.
You answered for yourself, but then you try to throw Kanye West back into it, which was anti what you were saying. Now earlier you said that he was. Yeah, let me slow down. Let me breathe. So earlier, when we were enslaved for 400 years, and we didn't do anything like running away or having a revolution, that's when we were doing it by choice, right? When that was some of your argument.
For sure.
No, okay. And so that was the sum of the argument. And so then when I talked about how you literally are not having a revolution or running away, wherever the running away is,
I am.
Not an economic revolution, because if you
think
are
it's reasonable to go to war with as a 14% of the population?
Well, Nat Turner thought it was. And that Negro didn't even know how to drive a boat, but he was gonna kill all the white people, hop on a boat, and try to get on down. Right? David Walker. I can keep on naming people.
I'm not saying that there aren't individuals in the past that attempted to fight during slavery.
No, I didn't say that claim. But they had the revolution. They had the armed revolt that you just talked about that made us make a choice. Does that make sense?
There were slave rebellions in the past. I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with those.
Right. And so slave rebellions in the past, which meant they were not making a choice because they were willing to die for their freedom. Because if you want to look, right. But you're saying the other ones that didn't, the ones that remained enslaved, made a goddamn choice, right? Like, is that not the argument?
Wait. So I think it's important to contextualize this correctly. Nobody's pointing at individual slaves. We're pointing at black people over time.
Enslaved Africans, people.
Yeah, we're talking about black people over time, right? So just like I would say today, largely we're making choices to remain in the position that we are, and we could enumerate that list if you would like, but we're largely making decisions to stay where we are now, just as we were in the past, for sure. On a majority scale, on a black people scale, not on a individual Nat Turner or individual Harriet Tubman scale.
I'm not following, because you're saying you're standing by the choice that it was a choice to be enslaved, and if you're choosing not to be enslaved,
it wasn't a choice to be enslaved. It was a choice to remain in slavery in the way that we did up until now. Yes, it wasn't a choice to be enslaved. No, because the difference is those people didn't choose to go into slavery. They didn't choose to be in prison. Those situations happened upon them, and we can go into why if you want to. We can talk about things that happened in Africa, but we're not saying that those people voluntarily chose to be in slavery. We're saying that those people,
you literally said,
but no, hold on. I want to make sure you understand the distinction. They didn't choose to live in chains. They chose to continue that enterprise for as long as it happened. So those are two different statements. Black people.
So black
or
people,
adidas or whatever, slaves or whatever moniker you want to use.
So in 1619, it was forced. 1775 is a choice.
For sure. Yeah, 100.
All right. So we're at a place of choice, right?
Yes.
And so all those
choice today.
Let's deal with this one first. Let's deal with the enslavement first. And so during enslavement, if you were making this choice to stay enslaved, and so the only people that made a choice not to stay in their situation, according to you a minute ago, was the ones that ran away and the ones that had a revolt, right?
To be clear, like I said, I don't care about. No, I don't. I'm trying to give you one. So to be clear, I've said that I don't care about individuals. And when anybody is talking about these type of things, they're talking about a collective sense. As a collective, 7%. To be clear, as a collective, we chose to remain in that situation. I don't care about the individuals aren't important on this scale that we're talking.
So, as a collective, should we have chosen death?
I think it it's more reasonable at that point. Yes, for sure. For sure.
Well, you stuttered, man.
No, I'm trying to make sure I'm careful with my words. For sure. I think if you the further you go into the past, the more likely I am to support the a nonsense that was talking about, an armed revolution. I think as you go further back in history, is more and more reasonable.
But if the slavery continued, why is it unreasonable today? If if the only freedom you could get was from running away and having a revolution, and the majority of people who didn't do that, I got it now. This DSLR goes off for whatever reason. I figured out. I got you. I'm gonna go. And so, if it's either staying enslaved, right, choosing to stay enslaved, running away, or revolution. There are no free states anymore, right? And so we don't have to deal with running away. So that leaves revolution or staying enslaved. If he was talking about 1619 to 2019 and into 2021 or whenever the hell he said this ignorance, you still enslaved, right? So the only choice for freedom.
Were you asking me a rhetorical question, or you do want me to answer that? Because you asked me what's the difference and why I think it's unreasonable today versus how I feel in the past. I have an answer for you. I just want to know if it's rhetorical. I don't want to interrupt.
I'm not asking a question. I'm restating your goddamn facts.
No. You asked the question in there. You said, hey, what's the difference? And I was going to give you the difference, but then you kept talking. So I don't want to interrupt you, but just understand that if you ask me a question, I probably have an answer. So. And let me know if it's rhetorical or not, because I don't want to jump in and it was a rhetorical question.
So let's make it rhetorical, because all I did was restate your thing, and I throw right in there because if I'm not right, I want you to say, "Or you're not right about what I just restated."
You're not right. Okay, so I can interrupt now. You're not right. This is why the conditions have changed. So one, we have more access to systems than we did in 1619. I assume you.
So slavery is not going on right now.
Hold on. Wait. Do you, because I noticed that I didn't ask you if slavery going on, right? I asked you a specific question. Do we have access to more systems than we did in 1619?
No.
Do you agree that's...
Are we saying...
If you think that black people have equal rights today as they had in 1619, I don't understand. Of course you disagree with Kanye. Of course.
No, he's.
I think it's an unreasonable position.
No,
I don't think any other black person on earth
we've been in
that.
slavery since slavery.
Well, hold on. No, but he did answer your question because you asked if black people have access to more things, and the thing.
But what he's saying is, if he says no, then that means that he understands why he doesn't agree with Kanye. I agree with Dr. GL because we're still in slavery, just in a different type of slavery.
So we can have that conversation, and that different type, what we're calling, is the reason why armed warfare is not like amenable or tenable right now versus economic revolution. But we first have to be very honest with ourselves and say that we have more access to systems than our great grandmothers. And I think if we're not willing to make those type of statements, it's impossible to have a productive conversation. If we think we literally have the same political and social rights as people from 1619, I think you're deluded beyond reach, if that's what you think.
Unless you're talking about proportionally.
No. The question is simple.
No, because you're asking more, and I get what you're saying. We have more rights to everything than we ever have back, especially back.
Wait, but I want to see if DL.
No, but the thing is too. But then if you talk about it proportionally, we might not.
Proportionally, we have more. We had no access. We were in chains. We had no access. We couldn't learn how to read. They would cut your tongue out. We had no access to these systems. And now we can have a damn podcast and post it online and not be enslaved and enchained and beaten, whipped, and raped. Like the idea
okay, hold on,
we have the same rights is retarded almost.
But then this is the other thing too. We're on a podcast, we're doing stuff like that too, and there's a reason why we had Black TikTok, because we talked about that before, where people were getting suppressed.
I never said that there aren't issues.
No. So that's I get, because you're saying just because we have access to these things doesn't mean that they're effective for us too, because it's the same thing as well. Because, and this is the saddest thing too, and I've done it before. I went for a home loan using the same access that we have, right, too, and I make, it with my income and everything too, and I got a lower rate than my freaking white friend who got nothing.
Wait, okay, so I think
so no.
So I thought you were done. Go ahead.
So that's why I'm just saying, just because we have access to something doesn't mean it's effective, and I think that's what Dr. DL is going into when he asks that question. It's because we have more access to certain things, but so does, and if I'm doing this coin, so do the white people. So even though we're increasing our advantage, they're increasing their advantage, so we're still in the same boat.
Okay, so I think it's important. The bedrock for conversations has to be like intellectual honesty, right? We can have a conversation secondarily of, are there still issues that exist today? And I'll probably agree with almost all of the issues that you're going to enumerate, right? But that's a different conversation too, that compares us now and us in the past, and what rights we have, and do we have more rights than we had in the past, and are there still oppressive forces that exist today? Those are two mutually exclusive conversations, and I don't like this idea of coupling them to shoehorn that we have the same access as our forefathers. Like that's retarded, right? Like we can say, hold on, wait. We can say, hey, we have more rights today, and there are still other things that need to be corrected in this country. That's nothing. What I said. But that's not what DL says. So I want to hear.
You don't know what the hell I said. All I said was no. That's all you done heard me say so far.
Yeah,
right.
I tried to throw it back to you, right? I'm not trying to make you not talk. I want to hear you, right?
And so it on so many levels, and I'm Smooth. I don't want to turn this into a history lesson, but I am. And so first of all,
sorry.
Right, when we look at slavery is an economic system, right? We got to get out of our, like, it's so much about slavery we don't understand. And so when we look at slavery as an economic system, the economic system is still in place. The economic system is about keeping people that have stuff, right, that goes back to enslavement, keeping that stuff in power, right? Here's what you didn't know, or maybe you're glossing over, or where your arguments are coming against each other, because there were so going to those 1619 people, most of y'all don't know that few of them were able to sue and become free, that they died free people. One of the things that in the United States, the biggest question, because they didn't know, because British didn't have a common law for slavery, they were making it up the whole time, right? They had to figure it out. And because they had to figure it out, they hodgepodge it together. And so what does that mean is, when, as Shar and I from Tennessee, while we were being enslaved, I'm going to make Frankie from New York. Frankie was up in New York voting.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. But you told me, do we have the same rights? So the answer is,
wait, you think? No, so I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Right. Go ahead. Because some people can vote. Some people pay, right? What is his name? Last name is Johnson. He's considered the first African American in the United States. Whatever Johnson's first name is, I forget whatever his first name was. He had a plantation name like Ghana or Angola or something like that, and he went from being enslaved to owning a plantation, to them taking everything from him, right? He lived by I think his grandchildren, right? And so economically, you had pockets of quote unquote success, voting, right? Because the question was whether African Americans were subjects when it was under the British Empire, and then when it becomes the United States, whether they were citizens or not. that question is not going to be answered until the 14th Amendment. And we know immediately after the 14th Amendment, we get Jim Crow. And so to take that away, but they didn't take it away for all Black people. And so who we're talking about? Are we talking about a few Black people? Are we talking about the majority of Black people? Because for you to then argue that things have radically changed because we got different access, and I'm saying no, they have not changed, because there was a few that had access then, but not the majority. Right?
So you think if somebody asks you a general question over, do Black people have access to the systems? Do Black people have a different access to system today than we did in the past? Internally, how you interpret that is, can I find a small demographic that isn't representative of the whole? And can I say that people today potentially are equivalent to people of the past because there was a small minority in the past? Is that what you're trying to stake your ground on? So you would say, because we have billionaires today, we have complete access to systems and we're completely equal to white people, right? Or would you say that, hey, there's a minority of people that are having this experience? So when we talk about a collective, it's important to note that the collective of Black people today have far more political social power than we had at any point in the past, right? You agree with that, right?
No. And so here's what I would say. Right. One, I would tell you one oppressed person is too many. That's one too many. And so this aggregate of trying to do playing this number game, because I would say the majority of us are oppressed. And so whether that oppression was called slavery, whether that oppression is economic today, education, prison, whatever, right? The majority of us and those systems that had us out of whack then are the same systems that have us out of whack. That's what systemic and systematic racism actually means, right? That the very nature of this country is built on systemic and systematic racism. And so the idea, right? Look, in fact, in your lifetime, they're rolling back voting rights. In your lifetime, they're going to roll back affirmative action or get rid of affirmative action. In your lifetime, all these so-called gains that African Americans are supposed to have gotten can be taken away at the whim of some white person, and depending on who's in office, right? And so you can't tell me our access has changed from 1619 to today. In 1619, a few had access. In 2022, a few have access. Because if you, for economic reasons, so you tell me the system.
You think few people have access to school, few people have access to vote generally in this country? You think few people have access to buy land? You think few people have access to get married and have it recognized by the state? You think few people have the ability to leave things for their their children? You think few people have all of these rights today, and it's the same relatively few as it was in 1619? That's the point that you're trying to make.
So the Black people that lived in 1619, they're gonna look at their white counterpart and say, "Am I living?"
I thought you remember how you said, "Hey, we can say yes or no." Can you give me a yes or no answer?
And you hadn't given me one yet. And so
I have.
In 16.
Can you?
No,
I'll answer every question.
Wait. Oh, hey.
I'll answer every question.
Is it good, Frankie?
Okay, wait. Okay, so listen. Y'all can go back and forth about the race stuff like all day, and yeah. I have enjoyed.
Well, I'm trying to do the Kanye quote, right? And so I'm trying to break down that quote that he said he stand by.
Look, we can move on. We've been at this quote for a minute. I want to move on.
Actually, I found out the quote I was looking for. Actually,
okay, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
And then I want to go to kind of what Shar was saying too. I wanted to go more in depth about that, about kind of why people are saying like why now. So pretty much on the 16th of October. So and when in podcasts, I think so the one that really kind of got everything in arms because Kanye said, "I can't say anti-Semitic Semitic things, and adidas can't drop me. Now what?" So I think that puts and that's what I wanted to how do you respond to that? Because I think that's what kind of put everything in perspective. So even if what you're saying, because he's saying, if you're saying what he's saying isn't anti-Semitic, when he says that kind of makes it seem like what he's saying it is he can say whatever he wants and have no repercussions for it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is easy. I appreciate the softball. So Donald Trump once stated, "Hey, I could kill somebody in the middle of Fifth Avenue, and the Republicans would still vote for me." Unfortunately, he was probably right. But saying a statement that's outlandish like that, and I don't like people making these type of statements, doesn't mean that they committed that action.
I'm agreeing with you on that.
So while he said, "Hey, if I say something anti-Semitic, they can't drop me," I think that's a dumb statement. I don't like that statement at all. That doesn't like, we can't deduce from that though that means that things that he has said in the past are anti-Semitic. So what I would ask, maybe of all four of y'all, is like, what's one anti-Semitic statement you think that Kanye has made? Because there are none, right? I know media like say, "Hey, he's anti-Semitic, blah blah blah," but can y'all, when outside of the media perspective, you, like, as a Black person or as an American, what if you heard him say yourself that you saw, that's anti-Semitic?
I told you coming into this, like, I don't even fuck with Kanye.
Yeah, no, that's
Like
fine.
that
That's
too.
fine.
But I'm saying, and so this is my thing too, is because I get what you're saying. It's not, I'm not saying that he did say something or did not say something. It's
Mhm.
just you need to have the wherewithal to, and I think now he's obviously he's getting upset, and that's why when he got banned from Twitter and Instagram and everything, so now he's trying to buy this other social media platform. It's when you put everything in perspective, you have to realize what you're saying with everything else too. And I do know that because he's saying that some stuff is and I guess the main thing is the Jewish he's talking about the Jewish underground media mafia with the DEFCON 3, like the DEFCON 3 remarks too. And then I know he was
Mhm.
trying to say that so that's kind of a little outlandish. And I can understand how people they could take it like that too. And it's
Yeah.
and I think the thing is too is I get what you're saying. He might not have meant it a certain way, but then when you kind of double it down on it, and then you also watch the world burn, I think that kind of, and then not do anything about it, I think that kind of solidifies it.
So
Of,
okay, yeah.
of
Okay.
what people
Oh,
are
my
saying
bad.
that too.
Okay, so real quick though, I do want to add on to the I forgot what you said. Darn it. Go ahead, Gambit. I forgot what you said.
No, go. Oh
No,
wait,
no,
you
no,
forgot.
no. I was trying
No,
to
I
respond.
want. I feel
I
like
was
I'm
trying to
talking a lot.
respond.
Let Char jump in. I want anybody besides me to talk.
Okay, so look, man, Frankie, what did you just say? There was some remark that you mentioned.
Oh, because he was saying that he was pretty much saying that he could say anti-Semitic remarks, and that and Adidas can't drop him. So it was that, but then, and I guess it's like we have to look at like at the order of everything too, because I guess if I go down, because I guess right now we could say this kind of started, even if we go, we'll go October, right? So October the 3rd, he wore the White Life Matters, the White Life Matter stuff. Me really don't care because he's either doing it for attention. You can do whatever you want. That didn't bother me, right? Then the 4th, he was talking about elitism and racism too. Then on the 6th, he was complaining about about adidas. And then I think and then that's really no big deal either too, because I think it's what Gambit said, and what Dr. DL said, and what Smooth said. We have this contract that's going back and forth, and I think it's pretty much I think Kanye finally realized that, hey, he's not a joint partner, and I think Adidas kind of set it out. It's like, no, it's like, we own your shit. Because and that's why Kanye was saying, like, on the 6th, it's like, hey, like, Adidas stole my designs. He used the word raped in there. That one, I don't like using the word like that for anything, because it takes it away from a serious offense. So then he goes, and this is the 6th, and he talks about, so we're going down. So I think it's really till like October 7th, which is, he threw a photo up there, because he had a conversation with him and Diddy. And which, and then I guess he was talking about Jewish people saying that they're trying to control everything too.
Yeah, and that they sent Diddy, and that they sent Meek Mill, and that they sent all these other people to come talk to him to get him to come off the ledge. But I with Kanye, I really feel like he's really in his own way. Like I think there's a more tactical way to go about, like if he wants to like overthrow the system, because that just seems like that's his general idea. He wants to be free. He wants to overthrow the system, right? Like in a way, but I don't know what system he wants to replace it with.
Yeah.
It might not be good, but he just doesn't like the status quo of what it is right now,
Which is
right?
understandable.
Yeah, it's absolutely understandable. However, the way in which he goes about it does not help black people at all. That's one. It doesn't do us any service. It doesn't do us any service at all. Two, it's not helping relations with other groups of people at all. You know what I'm saying? Because we have the problem of being identified as a collective, and for some reason, uh, excuse me, when our issues come up, they grab rappers and big celebrities instead of grabbing an actual intellectual or a politician to actually represent us every time. That's what we have to deal with.
Well, I think
They grab our entertainer to come on and talk about like whatever political issue is going on at the time. And I'm like, this dude just spent like 14 hours in the studio. He ain't been outside. Like, talk to somebody that actually is on the ground and actually knows what the issue is.
But to the media's defense, they do that with every group of people. That's not just a black thing, though. I think
it's no. This is more primarily black, and this is why I would say
I think we identified as more primarily black because I think our black celebrities are more out there because they broke the system, but they do that with. Like I said, because we have like because what's her face because we went over this too with I forgot that reporter's name who was telling LeBron and KD to shut up and dribble, right? But then
Ingram.
Yeah, but then she interviewed Drew Brees with the same thing with the same issue too, and it was fine. So they still got an athlete to do that.
To cover up what she did, but
no, the Drew Brees thing was first.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So all I'm saying is that I think it's highlighted more in the black. Hold on, I'll let you go. That's highlighted more in the black community. I'm just saying they do that from all walks of life because if anybody from Mississippi, they grab fucking Brett Favre. And say, hey,
because he's stealing money. But
but
different reason.
I get what you're saying. But I'm saying, but before that too, they're saying, hey, let's because we want to get the people that you identify with, and I think that's what they do. So all I'm saying that it's not just a black thing.
No, but I think no, go ahead.
Yeah, and I think the offensive part for black people is that. Like when because we're talking specifically in that instance about a sports issue. So if you asked another sports person, that's not too much of a stretch. But when I look at I just look at Hurricane Katrina, right? Mm-hmm. Why was Kanye even on TV to say what he said? Like, no, really think about that. Kanye West shouldn't have been the guy on TV. He shouldn't have been the guy. But they went and got Kanye.
But there was
no. When you look at all the black people that were on there, all of them entertainment in some way, shape, or form or fashion. They were all entertainers.
I totally get what you're saying.
That does not make sense.
But and I'm saying that's just a media issue because they did. There was white people. No, I'm saying that besides the people who were on there, there were white because I was there. Because okay, I'll back it on for me. I was working with FEMA during Katrina. No. So I was looking at all the news, and they were getting other freaking white celebrities and other and Asian celebrities like that too, and talking about that. So should Kanye not be there? Yeah, I totally agree with you. Kanye should not have been on there because a lot of that stuff didn't affect him. But a lot of other people that were getting on there for their 2 cents was the same damn thing too.
Yeah. So let me help you out a little bit. Like we have to understand that these groups don't take us seriously, and I think when we don't understand that, that's why we also don't understand Kanye. So like we have Bernie Sanders meeting with Cardi B, and I love Cardi B. Be careful is a bop, but so I love Cardi B, but like we have to look at what the Democrats are doing to black people and the like circus that they're playing with us, and like these people aren't taking us seriously, and I think. Like you should definitely understand that. Like Bernie Sanders isn't meeting with Kid Rock or the fucking like other people like that. Like he met with and even Bernie. I love Bernie to death. Bernie was like me Killer Mike is kind of sort of activist, so maybe that makes it better. But there's like people like Michael Eric Dyson. There's a litany of people that it would make more sense for Biden to sit down with, and he chose Cardi B. He chose to go on Breakfast Club. He chose those things because he's catering to, blacks are really idiots and they just follow their entertainment celebrities, right? And that type of message is disgusting. And I think we should be okay with calling out on how different institutions in America react to black people versus other people.
I want to jump in.
Well, what about Addison
Go
Rae?
ahead.
And so I agree with Smooth in this way, is that CNN will call in Shaquille O'Neal or Charles Barkley or someone like that, but they're not, and for them to speak to blackness. But not one time have you had a Brett Favre or Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie to come in and speak about whiteness as white leaders, as representative of whiteness, or and so that is the problem. But to Gambit's point about why politicians are catering to these spaces is because they want to get access to their followers, because they're looking for votes and they're trying to get their name out there. But that's different than you're doing a serious story on, let's say, Barack Obama. What the hell a cat that's playing basketball got to do with that?
Yeah, and they'll ask stars about social conscious issues, and some of them are even like uncomfortable, because imagine being like a black megastar and you're not up to date on like social issues because you're doing your celebrity life, and now you're being put with a microphone in your face to speak on blackness. So I think it's a disservice in multiple ways. One, it's not the right person to be asking. Ask somebody that is spending their life dedicated to these type of ideas. But two, it makes some of these people look like they're bad in blackness when they're just doing what most black people do. Most black people aren't up to speed on a lot of these issues. And they were talking about how like, only certain amount of NBA players are registered to vote. That shouldn't even be a conversation. Like, that doesn't make sense that we're talking about how many people in the NBA, of the 450 in the NBA, are registered to vote. And that was a conversation that they made about black people in registered to vote and stuff like that. And like, so I don't like when we use black entertainment celebrities on like really, really social conscious issues. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's like referring, like when you look at, I don't know, like they're anomalies. They're like 4-leaf clovers. Like 4-leaf clovers aren't normal. That's not your normal thing you see. You see 3-leaf clovers. 4-leaf clovers are an anomaly. That's why they're appreciated. All these NBA players, they're anomalies. You cannot look at the fringe element and then say that's the representative of our society and who we are as a people. And that's systematically what they have done every single time. I literally want you to look up any issue and then look at the black person they bring on. It's always a celebrity every single time. And I'm like, this dude don't even know nothing about this. He just spent the last 2 weeks in the Bahamas kicking it. I seen his IG live. He's been drunk out of the 14 days, 12 of them. And the other one, he was asleep. So I'm like, what's the point?
Like when the Stop Asian Hate stuff was happening, what mega Asian star or what league did they go to talk about how many people are registered to vote? They only do this with us. And it's important for us to understand that this is a disservice to our community. And this goes back to some of the stuff that DL talked about in his opening, which, we have some disagreements, but we have lots of agreements as well. When he was talking about how like Jewish elites have set the game where if you talk about Jewish elites, what will be published is you hate Jewish people. And that's what's happened to Kanye West. And like, as black people, we don't have that. When they're mistreating certain demographics of black people, especially if it's celebrities, a lot of us are like, fuck the celebrities and stuff like that. Like, we don't have that same camaraderie to say, you're not fucking with a small demographic of us. And that's one thing that I wish we had. And that's something that the Jewish community had. And like Kanye said, he's jealous of them. He doesn't dislike them. He's jealous of how they have existed as a minority, but in some ways come to power to support themselves. And that's the thing that he dislikes about us. Kanye is more speaking against the black community than he is against the Jewish community. He's highlighting things that the Jewish community is doing that we should be doing ourselves. So like,
and I know we hit on it on an earlier episode too. It's because we're so buried in infighting. And the thing
For
is
sure.
too, and with
I'm
Kanye,
sorry.
yeah, and the problem is too is we can't have discussions like this. But and I think the thing is too, if Kanye is talking bad about the black community, I think we all could agree that he probably should do, and he wants to rally the troops and make us better.
Bless you.
He needs to find a better way to do it, because honestly, this is just causing more infighting.
I used to feel that way, but somebody has to do something, and nobody
No,
operating on his level is going to do it right. So I have a lot. I had a podcast where I talked about the things
Mm.
that I necessarily don't like about what Ye has been doing. So I'm not a person that's blind and think, yo, Ye
No,
is
no.
100% correct and everything.
Yeah.
But him messing up, well, there's messing up from sentence to sentence. Like, we have to understand that our media is prepped for us.
I
These
get it.
people have speech writers. He's doing this off the cuff. So if he
So
sometime
maybe
isn't
change
as
it off the
clear,
cuff.
I'm okay. No, but I'm okay with his emotion that he's putting into what he means, and him not needing to go have like 80 hours of preparation. I'm okay with that. But I
don't
understand
need
that
80. I just need 2.
mean-
I totally get what you're saying, but the thing is, too, if we're saying this has been going on for a couple of years, and if you're really passionate about this, somehow you have to drop the passion if the passion's causing more harm than good. And the thing is, too, and the fact that we're having this conversation, and you're saying that because I'm saying, hey, he needs to do this better, and you're saying, no, it's okay for him to fuck up because it's coming from a place of love, and no one else is freaking doing it. That doesn't mean that what he's doing is right, because he might as well have shut his mouth and not cause us issues, and then not divide us further, or set us back. And I think that's just the main thing that. Like I said, I'm not saying he's anti-Semitic. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying he's not doing anything without a cause. I'm just saying if everything that his actions need to meet his words, and if this is actually a real thing that he wants to improve the black community, improve how we're seen, improve our economy, his actions have to meet his words. And then maybe his actions, they need to have more thought behind them, and he needs to prep for them.
Trust me, I hear you. My problem is the media has set this game. Nobody, regardless of preparation, is going to be perfect, but the media chooses who they want to like excise from the community, and they make these issues bigger than they are. The reason we're having this question isn't, I think it's solely because of how the media has covered this to divide black people, and not based off any statements that Ye has made. So it's a perception thing, and I have my perception, you have yours. I don't think Ye has said many inflammatory statements. He said things that we all might disagree with, but I don't think he, especially in the terms of like anti-Semitic, I don't think he said outlandish things. The media has created a narrative that he said outlandish things, and now we have to have conversations over Kanye West and anti-Semitism when it's not even a valid conversation. And that's the true problem. The problem is the media sets the game. So regardless of his preparation, he could spend 90 hours preparing. They can take something from his message and say, hey, this is what he did, this is bad, and they're going to run with their narrative.
But that's the thing too. It's the same thing that we got mad about Trump about. Sorry, Char, I'll let you go too, because and I am on the record saying the reason why Trump lost his last election is because he wouldn't get off fucking Twitter.
It's because he told him not to vote via mail, which was the stupidest shit ever.
No,
so I'm happy he was stupid. But
I'm saying there's other shit too, because as soon as you make Texas a fucking swing state, that means that's how you know you fucked up, and a lot of people, because he want to get off fucking Twitter. And the thing is too, it's easy because when you have a platform, and then and you, for lack of a better term, abuse it, and a lot of the stuff on there, it's not hard to create a narrative when you post stupid stuff out there. And then like I was going through it from even like from the 6th to the 9th, he's putting screenshots. So and then I get what you're saying, because he's trying to say, hey, I'm jealous of Jewish people. They do this, but then the way he's saying it, he's like, oh, they control this. They're taking this. This is modern day slavery. Let me go send this to Diddy. Let me go DEFCON. So however you want to do it. So whether you want to destroy their institution or you're inciting hate on them too, it's easy to set up, like the media. They're not saying, oh, let's do this. It's all out there, and he's putting it all out there. So I get what you're saying. Yes, the media is trained to. The media is trained to make people look bad if they want to make them look bad. They're trained to make people look good if they want to look good. But you can also, especially with the resources that he has, you can also train yourself as well and be better. And go ahead, Char.
No, I was just gonna say, so you're saying that the media has literally misconstrued every single thing Kanye has said. So that does I feel like that puts no accountability on Kanye. It's just, oh, the media is just taking his words and twisting them around and making him seem like the bad guy. Like there has to be some kind of accountability here.
Oh, you're on mute. Gambit.
Yeah, like I said, there's things that he said that I disagree with. I hold everybody to their own agency. So for sure, like just like I said, I did a podcast talking about the things that he said that I disagree with. What I'm specifically talking about in this context is, why are we having this national conversation? This national conversation is because of the way that this has been covered, and it's not because of any statements that he's made. So I'm saying that only in this specific example am I like removing agency from him somewhere.
But this is statements that he made. Maybe they weren't official statements, but his statements he said and on his Twitter, on his Instagram, and via
Which
podcasts.
statements are we talking about?
Well, no, because I said it's a message. It's a message he put on talking to Diddy. So if he goes like that too, because I said on the 7th, because he put a screenshot of a conversation he had with Diddy on there, and he as using as an example to show Jewish people that no one could threaten or influence me. And
yeah,
then and he said,
okay. Wait.
No, hold on. No, but
is that message bad? Is that message bad to you? Saying, hey, elites, I don't care what y'all do. Y'all not going to control me. Y'all not going to change my influence. There's nothing wrong with that message, right? You agree, right?
Well, I don't know. So I'm gonna say I don't know. So I'm gonna finish because I'm saying it's not because you're focusing on one thing, and the thing is, and I've said no because you're saying is that message bad, and I'm saying because as I said earlier, messages single file aren't bad, but when you put everything in context together. And that's and that's the thing, and those are his statements. So it's his multiple statements, and that's why he's here. And that's what I'm saying. He needs to do better, and I think that's what Shar is saying too. It's like we have to hold him accountable. He needs to do better, especially if this is his crusade that he wants to pursue.
So there are places that I agree with you for sure. I think people can dog whistle, and then people can avoid criticism because you can't look at just the individual statements. You have to look at like the totality of circumstances, make a guess on whether or not this person is actually meaning something different from what they're saying. So I agree with you that it's okay sometimes to look at the broader context. The thing that I'm saying is, even when you do that, typically some of the inner messages that you are collaborating to combine to create a narrative are somewhat inflammatory or hateful, or they're laced with some type of bigotry.
So
I don't think
DEFCON 3.
The DEFCON 3 thing. Okay, cool. We can talk about this. So DEFCON in the American sense, which you misspelled in the tweet, is a defensive position. He elaborated on this even more on the Drink Champs interview. So what he was saying was, hey, these people are coming for me. I'm going to defend myself from them, much like the same messages that he was sending to Puff. So yes, he did misspell it, and that made it look bad. But that's what he was saying.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But you can't get mad when you put stuff out there.
Wait,
no, because you're saying he didn't do anything wrong, and I'm saying even on that one,
that's in that instance.
Yes, no. So no, if you put all those three together, it's caused a pause.
Which three?
You know what? In thinking about it as a defensive position, that doesn't sound as crazy. Like if he's looking at them, I'm just playing devil's advocate. If he's looking at them as these are the people that are oppressing me, right? And they're oppressing my fellow colleagues, artists, and other celebrities, right? He's like they're in the way of forward progress, right? That because he just seems like his whole life he's been about progressing. If they're in my way, right? And he's like, okay, they're attacking me, they're going after me. He felt like they were going after his family and all that other stuff. For him to say, I'm gonna go DEFCON 3 to defend himself, like he's like gonna take it to the max level possible to where he can defend himself properly from the attacks that he is perceiving on himself and his family. I don't see that as that bad, and I can see where
that's why
where someone could not see that as bad if that being generous is his position.
No,
and the most important thing. Hold on, wait. I just want to give more context. I promise I want to let you rock. The last sentence kind of like make sure you understand the message that he said. He said, "You guys have toiled me and tried to blackball anyone who ever opposes your agenda." And that's him saying, I'm going to defend myself from all of this shit y'all are bringing on me, whether it's Jewish media companies, whether it's the Jewish people that were calling to try to have him canceled. He's specifically talking to those people that, hey, I'm going to defend myself.
But yeah, and like I said, like when you take them independently, there's fine. But the people the Jewish people, they're saying that they're saying they want to cancel him because he's targeting them too, saying that he's saying that freaking that they're going on tropes of greed and control, and he's saying that like the Jewish people, and he's saying and I think that's what it is because he's saying the Jewish people, and that's what it goes down because it's like me saying, hey, white people are doing this, white people are doing this, white people are doing this, and I'm taking them as a collective, and I think and so if you're saying, and it'd have been different if you're saying, hey, this person over here who happens to be Jewish is different from saying the Jewish people.
I agree.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where it all comes together. So with those three messages, and the unfortunate misspelling of like that too, because I said I know what DEFCON is, so I get what he's trying to allude to, and like what Smooth said, he's trying to protect himself from all these attacks, but it's like an attack that he initiated, and whether it's him not being clear or not.
I don't know if we can say that he initiated because we don't know what was going on behind the scenes.
No, I'm saying
before he got there.
No, I'm saying initiated by calling out the people as a collective.
But he's saying you don't know what made him call them out. If the Drink Champs interview, he walks through some of the stuff that we're talking about now, and he talks about specific Jewish people. I feel like in his long form conversations, he specifically talks about the people that he has issue with. He's very good at, like, he just name drops niggas. I'm like, I don't even know these niggas. I'm like,
which is fine, and maybe that's his bread and butter, and he needs to do that. But then you can't go over there and say, oh, the Jews are doing this, and the Jews are doing this, and screenshot again, throwing it out there to other people.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's what I'm saying. That's where he fucked up. And I think that's where Shar is saying, hey, we need to hold him accountable.
For sure.
And I think that's what Shar was. And tell me if I'm wrong, Shar. I think that's what Shar was getting at, saying no, we need to hold him accountable no matter what it is, because and that's where I mean that's where he needs to take his time. And like I said, maybe his long form interviews, that's where he needs to go, because honestly, last time when we did what Kanye did, when he was just name dropping everybody, Smooth and I, we actually listened to the interview and actually got to it. And got into it, so we go, okay, this is what he's saying, this is what he's meant. And that's why when Smooth said, oh, when he said Frankie Switzerland, because that's how I usually am, I want to know why he's saying certain things. But you can't call out a collective of people, because if someone says, oh, the black people are doing this, I'm like, what the fuck did I do? Why are you saying I'm doing this? So when people are saying, oh, black people are this and black people are that, I'm like, the fuck I'm not.
I agree that he should always say Jewish elites when that's the demographic.
First, not a question. But not even usually say just call those certain people out, and it's more so that they happen to be Jewish rather than because not all Jewish elites are the same, not all black elites are the same. Because if I'm calling out black elites, and that's the thing, black elites are different for me because that could be all the entertainers and the sports players that make above a threshold.
Yeah, I think it's hard to regurgitate the entire list, but I agree with you that he should never come off as this statement could apply to everyone. For sure. Without a question. That's for sure. Okay.
So real quick, I want everyone to kind of give their final thoughts, because we're kind of over time. We pressed into a different category. But it's all good. So I'm gonna start at the bottom, start with Shar, and we're gonna work our way up. And then I'm gonna give us our outro, and we're gonna get up off of here.
Slavery wasn't my ancestors' choice. That's all I gotta say.
Go ahead, good doctor.
I don't know if Kanye is anti-Semitic, but I do know he's anti-black.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I can't even say.
Come on, bottom line.
Go ahead, Gambit, because I'm laughing too hard.
Yeah. So no, I want to say I enjoyed this. You know, I know some moments were kind of contentious, but anytime I'm with especially my fellow black people and we have a disagreement on a topic, I enjoy it. So regardless of how we disagree, of course there are things that y'all say that will have an effect on me. So I appreciate y'all giving y'all's opinion. Yeah, I'm still pro Ye forever for sure. As soon as Ye start selling direct to consumer, I'll be the first nigga buy it. We already got these, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we very pro Ye over here. I do think some of y'all criticism are valid. I think that he needs to ensure that an entire race of people know that he's not talking about them. Part of that, I think, is the media fault. Part of it, I think, is clumsiness. So I think some of y'all criticisms are valid, regardless how much we disagree on some of the details. But Smooth, appreciate the invite, brother. Oh, this was dope. Anytime I'm with my niggas, I'm happy. So I appreciate y'all for allowing me in the space.
Oh man. Oh, final thoughts. I guess one, we need to be united as black people in general. Kind of like what everybody's been saying. We're echoing that. Two, I don't know. Maybe we need to find someone else because apparently we all can't roll with Ye. So two, it's like I think everybody with their platforms just they need to take responsibility and we need to do better. We need to do better because unfortunately the internet is undefeated.
Yeah, that is a very true quote. The internet is undefeated. Okay, I've been saying that since I joined Twitter in 2009. The internet is undefeated. You want to take an L, go up against the internet. You're gonna lose every single time. Okay, that collective engine it's just gonna go against you. But I will say, my personal thoughts. Okay, because I kind of I wanted to let you guys talk and get your stuff. My personal feelings on Kanye West and what he was saying. All right. First of all, the White Lives Matter shirt. Okay, what he tried to do didn't work. Okay, I seen what he was trying to do, but it didn't work. Okay, that just wasn't. If he wouldn't have had Candace Owens, it might have went a lot better. Like that Candace Owens made the messaging worse because she's already negative. It's adding a double negative, and all of a sudden it didn't cancel out. It just made your account more in the red. So don't ever do that again.
Overdraft.
Yeah, mad overdraft fees. Okay. Secondly, I do find it atrocious and very odd that this would be the line drawn in the sand, that this is what makes him lose his billionaire status. This is what makes him lose all his brand deals. This is what makes him lose everything. And I think this, as black people, we should take note of. You know what I'm saying? This is a serious messaging point for us. And I feel like in a way he was a bit of a martyr because this shows us that they truly do not care about us. Period, point blank. They only care about themselves and the people at the top with them. That's it. That's it. Bar none. Bar none. They don't care about us. And the moment we realize that, the moment we can move more effectively and attack going forward in the future a lot better. That's how I feel. This has been the final episode of season 6. I am so glad y'all came on. I appreciate all of y'all. GSU Gambit, Frankie, Dr. DL, Shar. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate y'all.
Gambit can't come here anymore.
Oh God.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
You just got here. You can't just what?
I'm kicked out.
Oh no, Frankie, if you want to be honest, he's tame compared to
no.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So no. Actually, no. But all joking aside, no, I do like Gambit. Like that too. I do like it.
At least like you are you're educated and you
No.
have
No.
you come from a place of understanding. We've had some people that like
Yeah, no, like I think Gabby hit on the head. Like you and I are we're more similar than I think you think
sure.
you even know. And you didn't set me off like that one dude.
Man, bro, that
Because I
was
never
like
get mad.
so yeah, I was like, you never get mad. Like you got pissed off. But I understand why you got pissed off because he mentioned your mom, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, yo, you on thin
Well,
ice
no.
right now.
No,
No,
This was the most recent one I was on.
The conversation
Yeah.
was talking about your
Yeah.
mom a little bit.
Well, no. The thing was, the conversation was no. Let's finish it off and we talk about it afterwards. We don't need
Yeah.
to do
All
a
right.
recap
So
on
anyway,
this.
hey, this is the end of the episode. If y'all want to check that out, watch more of the podcast. Goddamn it, we out.